it's Alyssa from Stitchonomy, and today I'm going to show you how to start an embroidery thread using 3 different methods. Embroidery made easy. Now first I'm going to show you 3 different methods to start a new embroidery thread. So you are just starting your embroidery project and you want to attach your thread to the fabric, or you're starting a new area very far away from any other stitches, so you have to attach the thread to the fabric instead of attaching it to one of the other stitches. And the 3 methods are the stitching over method, the inline waist knot method, and my personal favorite, the loop method. So let's begin. Now these techniques work on any type of fabric with any type of embroidery. You can use it for cross stitching, you can use it for hand embroidery, but because it's much easier to see in the video, I'm going to use some cross-stitching fabric, 14 count Aida fabric, to show you how to do these methods. The first method is the stitching over method. Don't knot your thread and thread your needle. Pull your threaded needle up from the back to the front of the fabric, leaving a 1 inch or 2 centimeter tail of thread on the back. Hold the tail of the thread against the back of the fabric with your finger in the direction you plan to stitch. Work the first 4 to 5 stitches over it to secure it into place. Be sure to check the back side to confirm that your stitches are covering the thread, and clip any loose ends before continuing to stitch. The second method is the inline waist knot method. Knot the end of your thread and thread your needle. Take your needle from the front to the back, about 1 inch or 2 centimeters away from where you are going to start stitching, running the thread along the same line you plan to stitch on the back. Bring the needle up to the front of the fabric at the starting point of your first stitch. Start stitching towards the knot, being sure to cross over the thread on the back with each stitch to secure it. When your stitching reaches the knot, pull the knot up and clip it off close to the fabric and continue stitching. While this method eliminates knots from your work, I am personally not a fan of this method because, as the name itself already hints at, waist knot method, you actually waste a lot of thread making knots, clipping the knots off, and I would just personally not really recommend this method. The third method, and my personal favorite, is the loop method. Cut off double the length of thread that you normally would. Use half the amount of strands that you want to stitch with. So if you want the finished stitch to be 2 strands thick, use 1 strand. If you want it to be 4 strands thick, use 2 strands, and so on. Double the thread so you create a loop at the end of your thread. Thread your needle with the non-loop end. Bring your needle up from the back to the front of the fabric, but do not pull through completely. Make your stitch, still not pulling through, and when your needle is at the back of your project, turn your project over and insert the needle into the loop. Then pull through. Your thread is now secured and you can start stitching. Now this technique not only eliminates all knots from your work, it also saves on thread. The only downside of the loop method is that you can only use it with an even number of threads. So if you are working with odd numbers, then use the stitching over or the inline waist method. When you are starting a new thread on an existing project, so you already have a few stitches ready, then you can also attach the new thread to an existing thread. And you can do this by either looping the new thread onto the existing thread using the loop method, or weaving the new thread into the back of the stitches to secure it. However, only do this with threads that you are going to use close to the existing stitches. If you travel too far with your threads, you are going to see them shine through the back. So if the new stitches are going to be further away from your existing stitches, it is much better to use one of the other options to attach your thread to the fabric. If you have any questions, please comment below or find me on Instagram @Stitchonomy. And if you found this video helpful, please click the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. This was Alyssa with Embroidery Made Easy, and I hope to see you all next time.